Hi, my name's Victoria Beale, I'm your host. I'm so glad to be back in this hot seat. And for those of you who missed the first section, we are here with the wonderful Vic Tarr, who is the CEO of the Fat Loss Centre here in central London. Vic, it's so lovely to see you again.
Nice
Thank you for being my host.
Thank you.
So let's recap over your sort of early career in the medical world, and then what gave you this light bulb moment to do what you're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did study at in Imperial College, and then did my foundation training here in the UK, and it was eye-opening for me. I don't come from a medical background, and to see various procedures was definitely interesting in how it's done, and you get a feel for different specialties. With what we do now, you know, what I love about it, it is very much an evolving field, and to the point where now people can come in and we can pretty much tell them, look, this is what you like, this is what you're going to look like afterwards, and it's very transparent. You pretty much see it imminently.
Amazing.
And it's also local anaesthetic based. It's pretty much like a dental procedure, the term being minimally invasive local anaesthetic day case. Like dental, like having a hair transplant, people are awake during the procedure, they can be on their phone talking to the surgical team. It is very simple, very safe as long as people are suitable, and downtime from 2 days.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the customer journey. So I've gone onto your website and I want to have something done. I don't know what I'm doing, but talk me through how that works your side.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of the time people have probably seen photos online, or they've come through and making inquiries online. Myself or one of our team would give them a call and just briefly speak to them about what was of concern for them.
Okay.
And then we typically either do a video or invite them in to see us in our clinic in London for a face-to-face consultation. At that point we can check suitability, and then also go through expectations, whether it can be done. And like I said, what I love about this, having been through the sort of mill with the NHS and various different procedures, it is very much, if it can be done, you'll see the changes and you'll see it imminently. And moreover, for the person, there's minimal downtime, and that fat can't come back in that area.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's gone for good, or is it just a maintenance thing afterwards?
It's gone. Once it's gone, it can't come back in the area.
That's really, that's like crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to believe.
This is what we all want, okay? This is what we want to hear. So that's amazing. So in terms of like postpartum, myself, I've had 5 children. There's a stubborn here, you know, there's fat here. So how many procedures would typically someone like that have to go through to kind of be satisfied and be done with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can take, officially the guidelines are like, we can take up to 5 litres of fat under local anaesthetic. Sometimes a little more is possible, sometimes a little less.
In one sitting?
Correct.
Wow.
So typically we can do a full abdomen, flanks, sometimes the lower back at the same time. Okay.
Wow.
So it depends on the person, obviously, on what they're looking for, but you can see drastic changes straight away. Yeah.
So comparatively speaking, a lot of us think, right, we want some surgery, we want something done. So we normally would like be straight away looking through the abroad route and jumping on a plane somewhere.
Yeah.
So why would you say your solution, let's call it that, is actually better for the UK residents than perhaps, or a much stronger, you know, comparative option than going abroad?
I think there's a few reasons now. So I think first and foremost, most people will go abroad because of pricing. We're actually cheaper, I would say, or more economically viable than going abroad, all in. The second reason is what we do is local anaesthetic based, okay? Whereas if you're going to go abroad, typically they are using general anaesthetic still.
Right.
So general anaesthetic carries a lot more preparation required, risks, a lot more downtime. The third reason, which is based on the guidelines, if you are flying, particularly something over 4 to 6 hours, you shouldn't be flying after a procedure for at least 2, possibly 4 weeks.
And that we know for a fact that never happens.
Yeah, I mean,
people are coming back sooner.
Correct. And then the other thing to say to you, assuming the surgeries are equal here and abroad, we give aftercare treatments, so you're gonna get that extra 10% with what we do.
Amazing,
yeah.
Amazing. Yes. More of an aftercare than you would have if you went abroad as well, I believe.
Exactly. So we kind of try to give a holistic picture,
which is really good,
to your treatment. And you know, I think we mentioned there are risk factors which are modifiable: diet, exercise, stress, sleep, lack of it, and then non-modifiable things like postpartum for women, certain medical conditions. So yeah, we'll take that all into account and devise a plan so that once the fat's taken out in that area, we know it can't come back there, but to make sure it doesn't come back elsewhere.
Yeah, it really is incredible. Yeah. And I had my friend Balbir, who I love dearly, thank you Balbir, I hope you're watching us, he actually asked me to ask you, what about people who are type 1 or type 2 diabetic? Yeah,
absolutely. So we will go through your medical history to make sure it is safe to do. And I can say this, as a type 2 diabetics, unless your control is terrible, we can do without any issues. There's minimal, again, as a local anaesthetic, there's not much you need to prepare for beforehand. Don't smoke or drink for 3 days. Take your medications as normal. Yeah. If you're type 1, we do need to look a bit more in detail, but we have done a couple of type 1 diabetics successfully, but your control has to be very good.
Of course. Yeah. Is there any other kind of medical issues or contraindications that would affect your procedures? Yeah,
absolutely. So I think if someone has had a stroke or a heart attack we don't do this procedure, vasoliposuction, for 1 year. If you're on blood thinners, we have to go through that risk benefit. What is the risks of you stopping the blood thinners as opposed to the benefits of getting the fat removal.
Right, so we just have to be careful of that. Yeah. But you would obviously find all that on the consultation anyway.
Exactly, and again, we've had people who are on some very strong blood thinners. We've spoken to their anticoagulation teams, and a plan has been devised where they can safely stop and then resume after the procedure.
Amazing. And I do believe we have some photographs that you might be shown at home shortly, some treatments. Talk us through some of these that we're seeing on the screen.
Yeah, so we always take photos immediately before and after, and so it is very transparent. You're going to see changes straight away. It may not be the absolute result, but because of swelling, but you'll see some changes. And then as you're coming in for the aftercare treatments and follow-ups, you'll see greater changes. And you can see this guy with the abs. Yeah. For him to get the abs, it wouldn't have been possible without this procedure. Right. Getting rid of what's covering it.
So he was going to the gym?
Yeah, so he workouts, exercise, without seeing the changes. And with by getting rid of the fat here, we've allowed him to then get that change that he wanted. Yeah. Amazing.
Well, I'm also getting the whisper in my ear as well, so we're going to be going to commercial break soon, sadly, because this is so interesting. But what we'll do is when we get back to the next section, we're going to be doing a real deep dive into all of your procedures and actually what you can do for people and how you can transform them. If you want to call the studio, if you're interested in any of the subject matter that we're talking about here, then you need to speak to us here at NTV. The number's there on the screen, and we will put you in touch directly with Vic or his colleagues. So just before we go to a commercial break, where are you based in London? Tell us.
We're at 351 Oxford Street, which is pretty much opposite the Disney store in Selfridges, very close to Bond Street Station.
Very easy.
And Oxford Circus, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. And are most of your customers based in London, or are they?
Yeah, we have, most are in London. We have some from other parts of the UK. We've had a lady today who came from Wales, some from abroad as well. Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah. So if you are watching and you're based elsewhere, then please do again give us a call, or you can go onto the website. Do you want to tell us what your website address is?
Yes, it's www.fatloscenter.com. Amazing stuff. So in terms of the actual procedure itself, we're going to talk about that because I know that we've got a little bit more. This kind of pumping action on TV. Absolutely. Or doctors' programs. Yes.
How does yours differ from that?
So vaser liposuction now has evolved massively to the point where it is walk in, walk out. It'll take us about 2 hours typically. You're awake during the procedure. Preparation beforehand, don't smoke if you do, don't drink alcohol if you do for 3 days. You must eat before you come in. It's fundamental. Take your medications if you're taking them as normal. We'll check your observations on the day, make sure it's safe and suitable to proceed. And then with Vaser, we use ultrasound. So this very thin probe just goes under the skin. Yeah. We don't use blunt trauma as old school liposuction does.
And the thing that I have in my head is this thick and it's this long. So how does yours differ?
Well, yeah, I guess it's a good question. It's similar, but old school liposuction uses blunt trauma to really just destroy everything in that area. Yeah. So it's quite a brutal procedure, has to be done under general and a lot of downtime and preparation and risk. Yeah. The ultrasound through the probe just melts fat, so it glides under the skin.
And we're going to come back to that later.
And then sucks it out.
Sucks it out, yeah. Well, we're going to come back to that. We're going to hold that thought. Yeah. It's Victoria Beale here, your host, and welcome back. We were talking about rods, and we were talking about rods for liposuction, but not the liposuction you have in your heads. No, we were talking about a different style of fat loss with the wonderful Vic Tarr, who is the CEO of the Fat Loss Centre. So Vic, go back to this rod, because all of us have in our heads these big, huge things pumping away, and you said it's nothing like that anymore. Tell us about your treatment. Yeah, so with what we do, the rod size, first thing to say, is anything from 2.2 centimeters to 3.7, worst case 4.6. So these are very, very small rods. Yes. The wound size is tiny. It's of that size, right? Yeah. Old school liposuction, what you're thinking about when you envisage it is where someone's really shoving a rod in as hard as they can into the various areas, using trauma to dislodge and break up fat. But indirectly, of course, it's going to damage other tissues because of the trauma. Vaser uses ultrasound with that probe, which just glides underneath, melts the fat, and we suck it out. Yeah, and the fat's gone forever as well. Yeah, if you miss the first section. Yes. That once it's taken out, can't come back. This is amazing. In that area, yeah. This is absolutely revolutionary, and I'm getting quite excited about this for myself, as you can tell. So let's talk about the fat loss jabs. Ozempic, Mounjaro, everyone's taking them, it feels. We need to come in on this subject matter because there's been a lot of people say, yeah, they're great, and other people say, no, it gave me gallstones, I've had problems. What's your opinion? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things I'd say since we started, obviously that pretty much became very widespread at the same time. Yeah. And it was almost head to head, but actually the two are not head to head. And what I mean by that is these weight loss injections, appetite suppressants, with them, you're going to lose loads of weight, okay? But most of your body weight is muscle mass and bone density. Right. And that's what you're losing. Right. When we come to fat itself, and we've seen this with people who've been on it for 6 to 12 months, you can lose fat in certain areas, but stubborn areas of fat. So for women and men here, number one, for women typically thighs, sometimes arms, and for men it's chests. Yeah. You're not going to get rid of that fat. And worst case, which is going to happen if you're on it long term, because you're losing the underlying muscle mass, you can be left with loose skin. So when you realize, hang on, the fat's still there in that area, and you come to us with the loose skin, it can affect the potential results you can get. Right. So for stubborn fat, my advice is don't take the Mounjaro, it's not going to help you. But if you're looking globally to lose weight, i.e. someone who's big all over, yeah, absolutely, that's definitely the one to use. And what are these fat loss jabs doing to people internally? I mean, it's a very good question. I mean, look, there are a lot of side effects noted. I'm not an expert, but by definition, a lot of people we've
have had various issues. You know, it's documented you can get gallstones, pancreatitis, can affect your blood sugar levels, etc. So so where they gain one way, they might have problems on the other side.
And
the other thing to say is, sorry to interrupt you, is once you go off the jabs, your appetite comes back, and so can that fat potentially. Whereas, or weight, I should say, in that case. Whereas with what we do, once you're done, even if you went off the rails eating loads of Krispy Kremes or whatever, in that area you can't put it on.
Right.
Very limited, but of course it can go to other body parts.
Right.
The fat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just like, it's mind blowing. It really is. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the services. So from the head to the toes, what are we doing at your
Yes,
center?
so we can do Vaser liposuction on if we take it chin, back, full back, the sides, axilla, flanks, abdomens, upper legs. Typically we don't do calves because it's kind of high risk.
Okay.
But those are the main areas we can do,
And what about like cellulite and the
absolutely.
all of that sort
we
of
can
stuff?
Definitely do that. Yeah.
So you can get a full body transformation.
Not at the same time. I'll say that.
Thank you for saying that.
Just because it's not safe.
But if I wanted a full body transformation, or people watching wanted the full works, what time scale are we talking?
You know, between procedures, you're talking, if someone's really keen to get it as soon as possible, 2 to 4 weeks. But we would always say, look, the best thing is get into a sort of more healthy lifestyle, diet, exercise. You're going to see changes in certain areas, and in other areas you're not. Those are the areas we will do for you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And this is all the Vaser lipo.
Yeah, Vaser.
And how many people in the UK are actually practicing this?
So Vaser is it's getting more mainstream, particularly the fact it's walk in, walk out, and results are imminently seen. But there are a handful of people doing it, and even less who are able to do it under local anaesthetic.
Right.
But I suspect that's going to change. Yeah.
Is this a regulated treatment?
100%.
100%. So it has to be done by a medical professional.
It has to be done by a medical professional, and they also have to have the relevant competence, experience, and training with it.
This is really good. Okay, good to hear. So on that note, let's talk about the abroad stuff, the subject again. So, you know, I know, and I'm sure you've seen people come through your surgery where they have thought, okay, it's cheaper, I go there, I have the works done, I come back on a plane and I'm, you know, completely transformed. But what's the reality, Vic, in your, you know, experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, we have seen a few people who have gone abroad and have come to us. I think there's a few things. We are actually economically more viable, all in, taking into account. The second thing to say is, with this being a local anaesthetic based procedure now, with this sort of what I term generation 3 models of Vaser, if you're going abroad, typically it's a general anaesthetic, which kind of leads me to think what age is the machine? You know, what is it? A generation 3?
Right.
The other thing to say to you is, when you're asleep, you don't obviously know what's happening, and we've had people who've come to us, from what they've told us, looking at them, they may not have had Vaser. It may have been old school liposuction because they're in extreme pain afterwards. Moreover, we've had people who've had fat transfer without their consent.
Right.
So they've had it taken out of here, put in there, and we've taken that fat out because they didn't want it. If that happened in the UK, obviously as a patient and as a just UK consumer, you're protected from those things happening. And with what we do as local, of course, you can, if you want to, see everything. If typically we have a screen up, but look, if someone's really keen to see what's happening, no problem.
No.
To you. Yeah.
I'd rather go on my phone, and you've had that, haven't you?
We've had people. So I remember walking out, I saw someone who was speaking to her daughter who was in the waiting area outside. On video.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I mean, it's just it's absolutely, so mind-blowing me already. So we do think, I mean, this is obviously a central London base, so very easy to get to from anywhere really in the country. Tell us exactly where you are based again, remind everyone at home.
We're at 351 Oxford Street.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much 100 metres from Bond Street Station, opposite the Disney store in Selfridges. Yeah.
Lovely, great location. Before we finish today's show, is there some words of wisdom that you can share with our lovely audience watching us now at home?
Yeah, absolutely. There are literally tens of, or possibly hundreds of different treatments for fat loss. There are certain things which are, transparent. Vasoliposuction, without a doubt, is the most transparent procedure out there. You're going to get it's the right, you'll get what you want, if that makes sense, as long as it's suitable.
Yeah.
Whereas with other treatments, it's very much hit and miss, user dependent. The other treatments, on that note, look, they do work to a lesser degree, typically.
Right.
And with that, look, we do all of them, all of the regulated known treatments, and we've got data sets probably more than anyone else in the world on what works for what person. So if you are interested, just get in touch and we can have a look.
And your website address for those that missed it before?
It's www.fatlosscenter.com.
fatlosscenter.com. And in terms of the if somebody says, okay, I might not want to do this vasolipo, because not everyone will, what should people be doing when they're going to make this purchase decision as a customer? So when they actually think, right, I need this doing, what's the kind of the do's and don'ts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you must obviously know what the procedure involves, who's doing it, knowing you have the safety and reassurance of aftercare treatments and follow-ups. It's also, I'd recommend you go to someone who has a portfolio. We've got thousands of photos on our Instagram, so you can see. The beauty is now people can come in and we can pretty much show you someone very similar to you and what kind of results you can expect.
Yeah. This is really, really amazing stuff. I know that we're going to be, unfortunately, coming to an end soon. So let me remind you at home, if you do want to ask our wonderful Vic any more questions, please do send them through to NTV. The number is on the screen to call in if you would like a connection with Vic. And please do call us if you're interested in any of these procedures or want to have more information. In terms of the aftercare and the sort of nutritional side of looking after the body, is there some words of wisdom you can share with people at home as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So to ensure that your results are as quick as possible, we do give a diet plan, typically keeping yourself hydrated, avoiding pro-inflammatory foods like chips, oily stuff for the first few weeks. Low salt will retain swelling for longer, but also things like spice in the short term can exacerbate pain receptors, so you can feel things a little more where otherwise you wouldn't.
That's interesting, because I thought certain spices would help inflammation, like turmeric is supposed to help inflammation.
Yeah, turmeric, yes, but I guess capsaicin, green chilies, that kind of thing.
Right.
They actually enhance your pain receptors, so you can feel it more.
Okay, this is good. This is really good information. And in terms of the kind of like, I think we're going to be coming to the end soon of this show, but I'm just trying to think of some other things that people need to know, because I'm very interested in this subject matter, and I'm sure lots of people are. Do you do do you still do the hair loss thing? Because that's how you started your career.
Yes, so we do hair transplants as well, and we do lid surgery as well. So
what surgery?
Lid surgery, so people with droopy eyelids.
Oh, okay.
Again, local anaesthetic, called blepharoplasties. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Upper and lower lids, yeah.
So literally you can come out looking like a different person if you went for the whole...
Potentially, yeah. Well, one step at a time is always what I'd say. Yeah.
This is fabulous, honestly. So I hope you've enjoyed watching us today, because we've certainly enjoyed having this discussion, and it's really nice to actually talk to somebody who is local, who's UK based, who's doing a really good job. And the good thing is the fat doesn't come back. I mean, this is what we all want, right? In terms of going back to the postpartum, because obviously that's of interest to me, and I'm sure it will be to other women watching us, what's the advice you can give, because there's a lot of these kind of mummy makeovers at the moment. So again, can you sort of give us your advice on that?
I would not, if you're postpartum, give yourself at least 6 months. You need to have stopped breastfeeding, and at that point, if you're looking to get something done, do one thing: don't get multiple procedures at the same time. It sounds convenient, but the risk and trauma to your body is high risk. Yeah.
Can you didn't talk about the pectoral, the sort of the chest area. So how does that work on the postpartum, the breastfeeding mother who's stopped breastfeeding, they now want to kind of go back to some sort of normality? How does that procedure work?
Yes, so with what we do, we can't have someone
there we have some pictures now.
Breastfeeding.
Right.
This is a woman who's very fit and well post childbirth, actually.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And that's 2 days later. She's back in Manchester.
Wow.
And she's got her.
So
getting her
in the purple. Yeah. She's. This is before.
Clinic. Yeah. That's in clinic.
And then afterwards is in the pajamas.
Yeah. 2 days later. And there's more to come. That's not her end results, by the way.
So she's still under the treatment. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So that's still in a swollen state.
This is incredible. It really is. Again, just for ease purposes, so we remember, whereabouts are you based?
351 Oxford Street.
351 Oxford Street. The easiest, the sort of closest tube station.
Bond Street's 100 metres. Oxford Circus about 2-3 minutes away.
Fantastic. Yeah. And the website again?
www.fatlosscentre.com.
Yeah.
Our Instagram has thousands of photos. It's probably the most updated thing. So the Fat Loss Centre, all one word. And yeah, have a look. There's loads and loads of photos. Yeah.
Well, it's been amazing talking to you today, and there's probably more to come. And I believe this is one of many shows at NTV. How have you found your discussion today? Because we've talked about loads.
Yeah, very. Thank you for the opportunity.
Pleasure.
Firstly, and yeah, I found it very informative, and I hope it's helped, and hopefully you'll have me back on soon at some point.
We definitely will do. I mean, I have to say, I think this is the right time now to discuss this, and I've learnt so much as well, and I want to know more. Yeah. Have you got any other plans in the pipeline for future treatments or other things coming in? Or?
I mean, we'll always look at other treatments, but some treatments are like fashion trends. They're here today, gone tomorrow. So we'll always make sure it is a suitable and long-term treatment for people before taking it on board.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, Vic, thank you. It's been lovely to interview you today. I'm very, very happy, and I hope you are at home. And it's lovely to be back, and I will be back August 23rd for a health and wellness focused show. So please do tune in for that with 4 co-hosts. But for now, thank you so much for watching us today. Vic Tarr from the Fat Loss Centre has been my guest. Website is www. Soon. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care.
Thank you.